So what is AllStar Link and EchoLink? Here's a definition. They are compatible networks of amateur radio repeaters, remote base stations, hotspots, and users that are accessible to each other via voice over internet protocol, VoIP. The VoIP is the same thing for people that have regular telephones in their houses that use internet connections. It's VoIP. So what is the difference between AllStar and EchoLink? In the AllStar system, you use an FM transceiver to communicate with AllStar equipped stations, hubs, and repeaters. And in the EchoLink system, you use a PC software or a mobile device app to communicate with other EchoLink stations, conferences, and repeaters. I'm going to talk a little about the EchoLink setup because it's probably the simplest thing for people to get on. It doesn't require you to buy a node or anything to set up your own node. Most everybody has a laptop computer or a mobile device, and there are free software out there available for you to activate right now and get into the EchoLink system. First of all, you download and you run the Windows software, and you find that on the echolink.org download, that URL right there. There are also pages where you'll find the web apps, the mobile apps for Android, for iPhone, and also for Mac OS. This is the page on the web, echolink.org, where you can download the Windows program and run it. And this is the Google Play, the Android app for EchoLink. And this is the iPhone link. You can download these free programs and run these on your devices. And the next thing after you run that is you have to run it at least once and do a setup on there so that the system knows that your call sign is wanting to access the system. Then you need to validate your call sign, and you do that at a website that's echolink.org/validation. And the reason they do this is because they want to make sure that only licensed amateurs have access to transmitting through the system, because you can download this app and actually transmit through a radio, through a repeater, or some node elsewhere with it. So they want to make sure that you're a valid licensed amateur. And they're going to request you to upload a PDF file, which is the official an official copy of your license. And most of you probably have already accessed the ULS system. This is the URL to get into the FCC license manager. You log on there, and then the next page that pops up will show you this little green area here where you can download your official authorization. You click there, and then the next page shows you the authorizations you added over to this side, so you can download it and press the download button here. And what this will do is download an official PDF of your license. It does not work in Chrome, so I just want to let you know you need to use another, you can use Microsoft Edge or Firefox or one of the other browsers, but Chrome doesn't seem to download it for some reason. And then when you download it, you get this type of PDF. It says official copy, not reference copy. And this is the file that you need to upload to EchoLink. When you do that, about 24 hours later, they'll respond to you and say that you are now validated, and that will allow you to transmit and operate through the EchoLink system. If you're using a PC on your home network and you're going through a router, you may need to configure the port forwarding. And that's a little bit beyond the scope of this talk, but this is just an example looking inside. You have to log into your router and then open up the ports and allow them to see the LAN IP address of your device. That way you'll be able to call out. If you don't do that, you can still connect to different nodes on EchoLink, but you wouldn't be able to transmit. You'll just be listening. So the Windows program, if you open the Windows program, EchoLink program, it's going to look like this. And it'll come up with a list of all different stations I can see, I can actually see if I can bring up my EchoLink here. I know I have it on the system here. Now you are seeing the EchoLink screen right now?
Not yet, still see a PowerPoint.
It's still pointing to your PowerPoints.
Okay, I'm gonna have to unshare and then start sharing again. Okay, now what you should be seeing is my EchoLink.
Yep, that's good.
Okay, yeah, when you open the Windows program, this is what you're going to see. And it gives you this whole link of a whole list of different stations. All of the stations that have I know it's very small print, so you may not be able to see it very well, but all of the stations that have -R at the end are repeaters. And you can scroll down. These are all alphabetic. All the repeaters have this little type of icon next to them. Now this other icon that shows you a little link, those are nodes. And they're all listed here alphabetically. Those are nodes. And then these are individual users, the ones that have the little face icon next to them. So you can see it has it says that total of 5,813 stations are busy. If you want to log on to our repeater, you would go up to this little binoculars icon and click on there, and it brings up this little search, and you can put in N6NA, click find, and it should bring up the yeah, there it is. It popped up right here. You can see N6NA-R, and that is the link for our repeater in Shingle Springs. And you can see it. Currently, there's no people logged on there. There's 0 out of 20. It could take up to 20 users. Okay, I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint here. Okay, we're back on the PowerPoint now. Okay, now I'm going to show you the some screen captures from the Android app. This is a capture from my Android app. It shows the icon for the EchoLink program. Looks like this little tower with the red light on top. You click on that, and then you'll actually also bring up a list. You can bring up lists by areas. This is area 6. And I brought up this part that I captured because it shows our repeater there, N6NA-R. When you click on that, you get this little pop-up window which allows you to connect to it. And when you connect to it, it'll confirm that you are connected to the AllStar and the EchoLink node. They're all together. And it just gives you this little explanation of what the repeater frequency is and our website as well. And when I did this, my own node, which is 53144, was connected to it. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do this on camera. We're going to do a live demo. Okay. I'm going to see how this, I'm going to have to pin my own camera here so I can see myself what I'm doing. Okay, I don't know how this is coming. This is my, I know, there it is. You can see there's the EchoLink. I'm gonna go ahead and open that app. And it comes up, this is the first screen you see. I'm going to go over to my favorites. And these are some of the different nodes that I normally hook up with. N6NA-R, I'm going to go ahead and activate that. I'll click on it. And then you get that little pop up there. And I'm going to click on the connect button. You might have heard that little ding dong. That means that I'm connected now to the repeater. So I am now connected to our repeater, And if I want to push to talk, I just have to click on that transmit little button down there. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I don't know if anybody's listening on the repeater right now, but if you are, you will be able to hear me.
Carol, it's Peter. I'm listening. Do you want me to come back to you? I'll turn down my computer volume.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
This is KP4MD talking through the N6NA repeater via EchoLink. Over.
Hi, Carol. It's Jojo. I'm monitoring.
Okay, I'm hearing Jojo. That's KN6HTD. I'm hearing you loud and clear. How do you hear me? Over. Sorry, there.
This is Jojo, KN6HTC. You are coming in loud and clear, Carol. And back to you.
Okay.
Whiskey Baker 6 Yankee Lima Kilo. I can hear you also, Carol.
Okay, thanks. That's Dave, WB6YLK. Hear you loud and clear. Thank you very much for the test. Does anybody else want to come back on the repeater?
6DRY. Loud and clear.
Okay, yeah, it's hard for me to get the camera to focus on the screen of the mobile phone here, but it did show the numbers of the nodes that were connected. N6DRY heard you just fine, so I know that there are a number of people that are all together here logged on to EchoLink and we're talking to each other. This is a great way to do it without, if you don't have a radio and you just have a mobile phone or a PC, for you to be able to talk to our repeater. And I am coming out on the air on 145.25 right now. And see, while I'm talking, it shows the microphone. And when I'm finished talking, I just need to tap the screen again. And it goes back to receive there. There.
Well, this is Peter and Keith. Excuse that age. You sound really good on EchoLink. It's a great presentation you're doing. I run EchoLink on my wheelchair listening to the N6NA repeater on my iPad because in some areas of Elk Grove where I live, my handheld won't hit the repeater. So now I'm always attached. A little EchoLink story. A few years ago, when I was in Texas, I looked over at my wheelchair and my handheld radio slipped out of my lap. I was too far for me to reach. And I was laying on the street where I grabbed one of my cell phones. I quickly called for help to anybody that would get myself. And on my way to rescue my handout. So I'm really finding the technology. It's Tuesday. I'll go back to the meeting on your Bible.
Okay, thank you very much, KD6HughesH. Thank you for that explanation. Yes, definitely, it's a great asset for people who have difficulty with access to the repeater because of mobility issues as well. So I'm going to sign off EchoLink and we're going to go to the AllStar in just a moment here. This is KP4MD signing off EchoLink. Okay, so to sign off here, to disconnect. To disconnect, there's a button at the bottom here. I'm sorry, it's a kind of bright, so it's not focusing. But this button over here says end, and that disconnects me from the repeater. So, okay, let me take a look here at the AllStar. Okay, the AllStar, what I'm going to do for AllStar is I haven't, to use AllStar, your own AllStar node, that requires a little bit more of a setup. And I'm not going to go into detail here because that takes a lot more. It's a little bit more involved. If anybody wants to set up their own AllStar node, we're certainly be willing to help you with that. I'm going to give you a demonstration of what AllStar can do. Back in the meeting here, good. Okay, this is my FT6TR. This is Yaesu. It's set up on the N6NA repeater right now. And where I'm inside the house here, I cannot access the AllStar repeater. I mean the FM repeater directly because I have aluminum siding all around me. So it acts like an RF cage, and it doesn't let me really get good access to the repeater. I can try to call in here, but I don't think it's going to work very well. Yeah. Okay, this is KP4MD, KP4MD calling for the N6NA repeater. Not even getting any kind of squelch tail at all. So let me go ahead and switch my frequency over to my simplex node. I have a simplex node here, and that's on this frequency. It's 145.51 right now. This is KP4MD activating the node. And turn on the volume here.
Node 53410 connected to node 53144.
What I did there was I just put in on the touchtone pad the code for activating a connection to another node. I did *3 and then the node for the N6NA repeater, which is 53410. Now I should be able to talk through here and it'll be actually activating the repeater. This is KP4MD. Does anyone copy me on the repeater? Over.
781, copy loud and clear. N6HDD, copy you loud and clear. Is it Peter, copy loud and clear.
Node 3629338 disconnected.
M6DRY.
Okay, that was N6DRY. Hi there, Paul. So you see, everybody that's on a repeater can talk to me here through my node, and I'm inside the house and I'm copying everyone solid, and I'm coming solid through the repeater as well. Thank you very much for this demonstration. This is KP4MD. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect, and an easy way to do that is *1.
Node 3613526 connected to node 53410.
Every time somebody else connects, it notifies me who's connecting. I'm going to dial *10, and that'll disconnect me from the node. That should disconnect me from the repeater.
Node 53410 disconnected.
Okay, so that's what's good about this. I could be anywhere around my house or out in the backyard or within the range of my node and be able to come very clearly through the repeater. So it's a good use for a handheld radio, because I've found most of the time I'm either here in the shack if I'm talking on the radio or in the car, and was hardly ever using the handheld. But now I'm not tied down to my shack. I could be anywhere in the house and talk nice and clear to the repeater with my little micro node. And it isn't all that expensive and not hard to set up. So like I said, we would be able to explain that and help anybody who's interested in setting up their own node in the future. I'm going to finish this up now. I'm going to continue here, resume slideshow. There we go. There is a web page on the website. It's n6na.org/allstar. And this web page has more information. It has a lot of the information that I just explained right now with a lot of links that give you more in-depth understanding of what's going on. And again, you can always email us at contact@n6na.org. Again, the AllStar node number for N6NA is 53410. To connect with us on EchoLink, it's N6NA-R, or also we have a number there, 646-535. Now, my own personal AllStar node number is 53144, and I can also be reached at KB4MD-L. That's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to try and answer. Although I know we have some real experts here on the whole system that are also joined us here on this meeting. So I'll turn it back to Kevin. This is KB4MD.
Thanks, Carol. Awesome presentation, a great demo as well. Do you have any questions for Carol tonight? I'm sure we have lots of questions. You can unmute yourself if you have a question. I muted everyone earlier, so just go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question.
Carol, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the HT uses simplex to connect to the AllStar node, and then the AllStar node does the duplex connection with the repeater?
Yes, actually the connection from our node to the repeater is in simplex. But the AllStar system is a duplex system. And from what I understand is that if more than one person is talking at the same time, you'll hear both of them, or two or three, everybody can hear. But right now our connection that we have, since the repeater is a simplex, you can't be transmit, most people don't transmit and receive at the same time. And the actual link that we have from the internet to the repeater is a simplex link. That's what you're gonna hear. Does anybody have anything to add to that?
I have an additional question, Carol Neal, KL7HQR.
Sure.
Yeah, if I understand correctly, this being a simplex frequency, it will assist you on the transmit. In other words, you can hit the repeater, but it will not enhance your receiving of the repeater. Is that correct?
Well, you're going to hear everything that's coming through on the repeater system, because you're receiving everything through all the remote receivers and the voter. Everything's being channeled to you.
So what I meant is that if you're receiving the repeater poorly at your location, this will not enhance that.
Yes, it will.
It will. Okay.
It absolutely will, because you're going to have an internet connection directly to the repeater, and you're going to be hearing the same quality of what's coming through the repeater is going to be coming out through your node.
Thank you very much. Fantastic demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
It's Peter. Can you excuse me with a comment? If I could just give an example, I serve on a couple of different state boards, so I travel around the state. Pre-COVID. Now we're meeting remotely, but after COVID, I'll be going to meetings in LA. So I can be in somewhere in LA and use EchoLink on my computer and talk into N6NA, just says call home and sound full quieted. Because as Carol said, it's going in through the internet to, your cell phone or computer or node. So, it's really wonderful. And also, we have folks who are amateur radio operators who are in independent living facilities around the area, and they aren't very active because they're not allowed to have a lot of equipment. It's difficult for them, but this is a great way to bring folks who may be out of the area or moved away who are members or members who are now living in other places or even assisted living facilities to be able to stay in contact.
Yeah, thank you very much, Peter. This program is going to be posted on YouTube because it's being recorded right now. And I will also put a link to the PowerPoint on our website under our meetings tab. So anybody who would like to use this PowerPoint, you're welcome to do so as well.
Carol, I wanted to say, Deb and I were traveling in Europe and I used EchoLink to call into the Napa repeater. It's a worldwide deal.
Mm-hmm. Again, I want to really give my thanks to Chris, N6ICW, who and Russ also, KN6SD, who were very helpful in facilitating this and moving this along. We are currently in a testing phase of this. We don't have the final equipment. You know, everything we have right now is just in a testing phase, but it's looking very good and it seems to be very well received. So we will apparently we'll just go ahead and continue with this, and we appreciate any feedback we get on it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Cal. Any more questions for Cal?
Well, this is Neil KL7H2R. So now nobody will ever have an excuse not to participate on the net or in the meetings, no matter where you are in the world.
That's right.
Carol, there was some comments in the chat that they were interested in your PowerPoint. So check out chat, and Bill was interested in what you have.
Yeah, as I said, we're going to post it on our webpage, and there will be a link so you can download it. It's going to be under the meetings tab on n6na.org.
Just a comment on last week's net on Wednesday, there was at least 2, maybe 3 people who checked in over EchoLink. And it was interesting to hear that the audio quality was superb. It was crystal clear. So it works really well.
Yeah, that's one benefit of AllStar. Some of the digital voice modes, they give you a robotic quality to your voice. Some of you may have experienced that. And it doesn't sound natural, and sometimes I think it makes the intelligibility more difficult. The clarity is amazing with AllStar. I was absolutely impressed with that.
Yeah, for some of us who have hearing issues, and I can speak for myself and Hank both, having a little more clarity, being able to be a little more, have a little more control over how loud it is and so on would be a real plus. Because I think it's a lot of what steers people away from participating is if you can't hear it, you can't do it, you know? So
this is Mike, K7GFM. I'm one of those that checked in last week on the net with EchoLink, and I think it was very successful. So thanks, Carol, for a great presentation.
yes, yes, indeed.
Can I add one comment?
Yes, please, Jim.
I hope you can hear me. So real quick, this is Jim, K6JWN. I'm one of the newbies. AllStar itself is based off of a telephone PBX. So that's why the audio quality that comes through it sounds very, very close to a telephone. So, you know, if you were to pick up your phone and talk to a relative, you know, that same audio you're going to hear on AllStar, because AllStar is under the hood. It is actually a telephone PBX. So just wanted to throw that out there. That's why the audio is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Any other last minute comments or questions before we wrap up?
Yeah, just to remind everyone about our nets tomorrow.
Sure.
And Yeah, and we have some people checked in from out of the area. You can log on using EchoLink or AllStar. You're welcome, please.
We'll be checking into the net tomorrow on EchoLink.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
This is Jojo, KN6HTD. Well, the Sacramento ARIS checks into the net with so many members who are using the analog repeater as well as EchoLink. And the problem is that most people who check in via the FM repeater often steps on those who are using the EchoLink. So in another club, there is somebody monitoring who are the members logged into the EchoLink node and then make sure that they are accounted for, even in a separate space during the check-in period, so they won't be overstepped on. So that's my input for that check-in process. Because I've been to that net multiple times, and that's the problem. The EchoLink users tend to keep up with a delay, so much that they will be stepped on by the other hams. That's my comment.
Jim Nesson, could you possibly explain to us a little bit about the latency question?
Sure. So basically, whenever you key up, there's obviously going to be a little bit of a delay as your packet makes it from your station across the internet and to the remote station. So a good rule of thumb, which I tell everybody to do, is when you are on EchoLink or AllStar or whatever, when you key up, wait about a second before you actually start talking. If you key up and go too quick, chances are that probably the first 2 or 3 syllables of what you're saying are going to be dropped. So just remember that, you know, there's going to be just a little bit of a latency as your packets make it from point A to point B.
Okay.
And this is Peter Gates with a comment. Also, it's my understanding, and anyone correct me if I'm wrong, that RF takes priority over EchoLink. At least it's what I read. So if somebody transmits, it may cancel the EchoLink signal. I was doing some reading the other day, and that's what they mentioned. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I was wondering, is Chris still with us, N6ICW?
Right here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. The question we had was, with the current system, if somebody's talking through the repeater receivers and some audio comes in over the node, does one take priority over the other?
The repeater always prioritized currently over audio from the port that the EchoLink is coming over. The new controller, I can't answer that question. We have a new controller. It's sitting in my garage. It's a 3-port controller. It's made by Arcom, but I haven't had a chance to pour over the documentation to see if they do audio mixing. Some of the controllers will allow audio mixing, in which case, even though the person that's talking on the repeater may not hear the person coming in on EchoLink, other users will realize it's sort of like a doubling, but it's actually just true audio mixing that could go on.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions or comments for tonight?
I do have one. Bob Mix is running his DIY net Thursday night at 7 o'clock for those who are in the DIY group.
A few meetings in 1 week. Okay, thanks to
Yes, there is a question in chat. I see that Ken N6KEN asked if there's a concurrent connection limit on the node. The node can have a timeout limit that has not yet been set, but that's more of an issue if somebody connects the repeater to some other hub. You know, there are some hubs out there, like you might have heard of the WIN system. The WIN system is it's a gigantic link of a whole bunch of stations and repeaters all into one hub on AllStar. And if we link the repeater to that, you will hear all of the activity that's coming in on the WIN system through our repeater. We did do that for some testing for the first few days. We're not going to continue doing that because we really would like to have our repeater more for local communications. But if somebody were to do that and leave it for a long period of time, it would be ideal to have a timeout so that it would drop the connection and not dominate the use of the repeater. Right now, the AllStar access to our repeater is only for people who have nodes who connect to our repeater. We really have the repeater control operators can, if necessary, hook up our repeater into another system, but we're not making that generally available at this time yet, unless there was a need. And if you have a need for that, you would please contact us and we will discuss that. How many can connect at the same time? Okay, that was the question from Ken. EchoLink has a total number of 20 that can go through EchoLink. As far as I understand, AllStar has no limit. So we can have hundreds of people, and you see some of the bubble charts on AllStar, like for the WIN system, and you'll see over 100 stations connected all at one time to the hub. It can get very unwieldy.
Yeah. Oh, is there a timeout? Like if I connect over EchoLink and just start transmitting, but don't hang up, is there a timeout on that?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know. I'll have to look into that. There may be something in the node to that effect, but I honestly, I'll have to read into that more. Do you know anything about that, Jim Nesson, by any chance?
I believe it follows the AllStar timeout timer, which is set for 3 minutes by default.
Okay.
So if you come in and key up, it will time you out for 3 minutes.
Okay.
And that's actually a definable setting.
Okay, and is that the push to talk? If you have the push to talk locked for 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, if there are any further questions, you're welcome to send them by email to contact@n6na.org, and we will attempt to answer them. Thanks again very much. And it's looked like really something fun, additional service to our amateur radio community. And we're getting into the 21st century. Thank you very much for all who are helping with this.
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you, Carol. Great
Thank you.
presentation.
Russ, for getting it set up. This is awesome. Very good.
Yeah.